And staying with rugby news, as Siya Kolisi prepares to lead the Springboks for the second World Cup in a row, he was asked the question, will he hold back in the warm-up matches due to his recent injury? The Zwide-born World Cup winner answered that at his club side, African Bombers, he was taught to always play hard, and if he starts thinking about an injury, he will get injured. But who are the African Bombers and who else have they produced? Newzroom Afrika's Yolulwe spoke to the members of the club in Gqeberha.
South African rugby has historically been known to have an Eastern Cape influence. Eastern Cape rugby, in turn, has often leaned on the strong structures of its club rugby system. One of those clubs that has played a significant role in Gqeberha is African Bombers. Veteran club administrator Thobile Mhlauli explains the club was founded mainly by Thami Majola in 1953.
There was no ground here, and then it was just an open field, and then the field was owned by Listen. And then Mr. Majola went to approach Mr. Listen, who was a businessman here, early China, and then wathetha naye wafumana elibala, and then iBombers yayiyuza.
Mhlauli dates African Bombers' earliest success to 1971 when they won a breakaway league. He says even before the generation that Siya Kolisi was in, they already had prominent players.
Like uThobela Zweni, who was a center and a wing, he was coming all the way from Kiskamawuk, and he was one of the guys that represented Bombers in the Barbarians of that times and all that. He was a very good player. And then we had guys like Wonga Joka, who played for Eastern Province. And then even before that, during the Black Eastern Province, we had Abanda Badala, old guys like Mr. January.
Mhlauli reiterates that his true passion is with the juniors and reveals the role African Bombers played for the young boys in this Zwide township.
In our society at that time, we used to have tournaments that were organized by African Bombers, under 18 during school holidays. We had under 18 tournaments, we had under 15 tournaments, we had under 11, under 13 tournaments. And why we had those tournaments? Because the boys were loitering around. We were trying to get them committed so that during the school holidays they're involved in rugby. We're taking them away from all the mischief.
African Bombers have now dropped down a division to the Adams Cup, and current captain of the side, Mlamli Sontashe, says that can be attributed to all the issues facing the Zwide township.
We've got boys and also youngsters that are involved in drugs also. They are being influenced as well now. And then also Gqeberha was not being taken in the right way because of this stadium. It used to be a big one. It used to be full in the stadiums in the olden days. So now it's no longer like that now. Those young boys, they would come here, smoking drugs, all those stuff.
Mhlauli showered praise on Kolisi for his contribution to the club, but warned that without resources improving, there will be no more stories like his from the region.
We are very proud of Siya. Really have put Bombers in the map. I just wish that we can have more help in upgrading this field, bringing this field back to where it was before, because so that we can get the youngsters back into playing rugby. I see there's some youngsters playing there, and some of them they don't even have a ball.
Junior president of the club, Andile Mankomfane, details the difference between the eras of Kolisi and current SA schools duo Thobile Hlekani and Sibabalwe Boy.
So we're playing the league that was controlled by Eastern Province. We'll play with other teams. But now, during Obato, we need to organize friendlies. Or they need to wait for the TJRTP tournament to be played only on June 16, and they will play. They will spend more than a month not playing for a club, but only playing for the schools.
He also details that the club also has a proud tradition of developing Springbok women.
Gqeberha is from African Bombers. So Gqeberha is also a former Springbok player. So those are the Springboks from our women's side as African Bombers. The likes of Gqeberha Kula, the likes of Phumeza Gadu, Springbok side, and also Sevens. Now we've got current Springboks, Charlie and Monica Mazibukwana.
Makomfane recalls how a sneaky Kolisi used to come back into the township to play senior rugby for African Bombers. He says that's why he was a level above the rest in schoolboy rugby. He also says they used the same development method for Hlekani and Boy, and all three ended up having SA Schools colours.
He used to jump Eskolweni, you see, a grey, because they don't know him, and then come and play for the club. Because he was missing that Qoshe rugby, you see. And when he goes back to grey and play there, you will see that there's a difference, because he's matured of the rugby.
From producing the first ever black Springbok captain and World Cup winner, Siya Kolisi, to the new generation of SA Schools and SA Schools A players in Batobele Hlekani as well as Yolulwe Boy, it is clear to see why African Bombers have such a big place in the traditions of Gqeberha's club rugby history. Now it is up to the new generation of coaches to make sure that the other players coming up maintain such standards and traditions. For Newzroom Afrika, channel 405, I am Yolulwe Qoshe in Zwide township, Gqeberha.